Hey guys, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a timeless reading. I was seeing the Knight of Cups in the pre-shuffle, seeing the Ace of Swords wanting to come out. The first card we have out is the Knight of Cups. All right. So what's happening here? You're reaching out to someone, someone's reaching out to you. Funny how that works, huh? Looks like somebody's got something to say here. This person, because we don't know if this is you or someone else yet, right? And it can be either. This person that is sending the message or like contacting the other person, I'm seeing them put themselves into a position where they feel like, I don't know, there's almost like a responsibility to do this. It can even be so much as someone looking at this and being like, we're not going to have this conversation if I don't do this. Or like, this is never going to be brought up. Or it's not going to be addressed. That sort of thing. It feels a little bit important. Or someone feels it's important. Looks like this is being looked at closely, both by sender and also receiver. For those of you that you're sending a message, it looks like before you do so, you're being guided to like really check in about your intention, what it is that you're communicating if you're accomplishing that. Even seems like something about moving forward with things, can be moving on from something. Wanting to move to a better place, wanting to get to a better place. The person that's sending a message, they're like really hoping that the person receiving is going to hear them out, even though it's like, obviously the person is sending a message, they want the other person to hear them out, but I'm getting something feel very like even delicate here. Because I even get the vibe of this person looking for like maybe some sort of understanding. In one's head, their idea of, even though this can be temporary, their idea of like what they need right now in order to move forward and in order for them to take care of themselves is to sort of like put a pause on things. It feels like someone maybe like disengaging completely from something and being like, I really need this time to think, or I really need this time to myself, or to like tend to my needs. But I'm seeing it most of all be about like a break or space of some sort. So it's like, it feels like not only going into the Six of Swords, which can be like, I want to move to a better place. So I'm going from like where we are now into a place that feels better. It feels like it gets even deeper going into the Four of Swords here, which means what's the best way for me to put this? You know, sometimes we feel like we need a break, or we feel like we need space, or to put a pause on something, and we don't do it, and so it gets like so severe that it's like, I gotta shut down everything now. Like, I'm not gonna answer my phone for 5 days. It's like, I'm seeing something like that here, where someone feels like it just got to a point where they need to like completely shut something down, or completely stop something, or completely pause something, because they like really need this time for themselves to like collect themselves and to sort of like tend to their needs and recharge, like that sort of thing. Maybe even resting. And so there can be like a bit of inactivity that's happening here. Feels like one trying to put their mind at ease. Hopefully figure out how to do that. But they feel like they need to prioritize themselves. They also feel like they need to tune in and just listen. And they're figuring out how to do that. It looks like there's also, I'm hearing attesting to something. I'm getting the notion of like healing that's happening too. Seems like within the message, something is being addressed, but this person also feels like they need to prioritize like resting right now, or recuperating in some way, because they're like trying to prioritize their like their feelings and also their healing, and maybe even they're coming to terms with something. It feels like this person being like, I have a problem and this is how I feel like is the best way for me to fix it, or for me to tend to it, or to address it. I get the vibe of something feeling like even very still, or like very quiet, or very subtle. Like things feeling kind of like a serious undertone. I'm seeing somebody really be trying to figure out right now like what they need to do for themselves and for their heart. And again, to put their mind at ease. That's coming through again. So there's stuff mentally on this person's plate as well. Some of you, like, you're messaging all of this to the other person. Or you're messaging something that will like grant you the opportunity to do this. Yes. Okay. What it looks like, having Three of Swords come out and then Six of Pentacles after, it looks like there was a mismatch within a situation. So this can be like, I expected this from you, this happened instead. I wanted this from you, this happened instead. I didn't want you to do that, you did that. Stuff like this. Or like, I want to be in this type of relationship, or relationships look like this to me, and just the other person being like, well, they look like this to me. Just something happening here where there's, again, just like a mismatch, but it feels like a painful one. This can also be a moment too where you're like, maybe we have different values, maybe we don't share the same values, or maybe this thing is incompatible. It feels like it's connected with even like how somebody prefers to be treated. And when I say prefer, because the Empress is next to it, it can be like, I expect to be treated in this way because it allows me to feel respected. It allows me to feel seen. It allows me to feel valued. And that's the type of relationship that's worth it for me to participate in. And so if it's not going to line up with that, that's not going to work for me. It's like this sort of thing. But I'm also seeing there be like a bit of, I'm hearing Stepford. I'm also seeing there be a bit of, someone's feeling a little bit stuck. Okay. This is also somebody recognizing their worth too, because having Six of Pentacles, it's not only about what another person is like receiving or expecting from another person, it's also about like what the person gives, and especially to have the Empress here too, which is about like Venus and our relationships and like our love and our love language and how we communicate that and our interpersonal relationships. This can be like I show up in this way, and so I expect to be like treated by a particular standard, and sort of needing to stick with that and be within that and to own that. Feels like even like maybe in an emotional sense. Seeing the star on the bottom of the deck. How about that? This is also a moment too where someone's like expressing how it's important for them to be treated, even if this happened like a while back, because they feel like they can show up best when that's happening, of like, I work best with this energy, or like this type of exchange. And to have both the King and the Queen of Cups here too, it really feels like this is an emotional topic of some sort, where like King of Cups and Queen of Cups came out right next to one another here, but I'm seeing that like when we shift the cards around, it looks like there's like a wedge even coming between them of I don't know, there's like a separation or a pause between them. Someone feeling like they sort of like need to go off on their own and deal with what's going on emotionally. So there, it feels like there's a desire to process, maybe in isolation of some sort, or like talking less or something like that, communicating less, seeing each other less. Because I'm seeing this Queen of Cups being like, I need to prioritize myself here, and trying to figure out like, how do I say that? And especially too, like having the Three of Swords here, it can be like, maybe there's no easy way to say this, or maybe there's no way to say this without maybe somebody getting hurt feelings here, but that's also like not something that one can really control. Like, we're each responsible for our own emotions. But yeah, maybe something I just get this feeling like King of Swords and Three of Swords is like, there's no easy way to put this, but I'm seeing someone like try to find the easiest way to put something. But they like don't want to come off as harsh, and that may be like a fear or worry of this person being like, I need to address certain things, but I also feel like I already know the way that it's gonna come across, like how that's gonna translate for you. But it does feel like someone's finally maybe speaking up for themselves. Because out of all of the queens, like the Queen of Cups is usually the last one to say something, and it's not because it's like they felt something before all of the other queens, but they're going to be the last one to address it or the last one to say it. generally. Like usually with the energy of water, wherever it is that we have it within our charts, sometimes we can be a bit passive until we feel like that really crossed the line and now I'm gonna say something. Or like when we get to that point where it's like, okay, gotta shut it all down, you know, like it's that vibe that I was seeing here of like, I needed a break, I needed to step away, but because maybe that wasn't being honored, someone got to the point where they're like putting the brakes on so hard and being like, we can't go any further right now. So that's sort of what's being figured out, and it seems like that's also going to be brought into the conversation space if it hasn't already been brought up or brought in. Because I do get the vibe again of somebody being like, how do I even delicately put this? But it may just be one of those things where it's just like maybe unpleasant to address. So let me just clarify, because I'm seeing something here. We have these two people here, at least. Queen of Cups is saying to King of Cups, listen, I need a break right now and I need to focus on myself. And it seems too that Queen of Cups isn't just like disappearing off into the distance. Queen of Cups is sort of going into isolation or like going off and doing their own thing in order to figure out sort of how to approach a conversation that needs to be had. So that's what they're figuring out doing. That's like part of why they're taking space and what their intention is to do while they're in that sort of like recovery period of doing what they need to do for themselves, which feels like a lot of self-care or just trying to sort of ground is coming into play here. So yeah, I do get the vibe of like somebody coming through wanting to have a discussion about like even expectations or something like that. It's something about how like both people show up within the relationship, and sort of like before that happens, needing to spend time thinking about that, especially to like Six of Pentacles can have to do with our values. Having Venus right next to it, values, our relationship values, like what we find important, how we want to be treated, what matters to us. And then having Judgment above the Empress is sort of like looking into that of like, what do I need to experience within a relationship in order to feel empowered, in order to feel like I'm being treated right, in order to feel respected, like those sorts of things that we want to experience usually within a relationship. So one is like spending time, it feels like pondering this. And then there's like this hope to sort of move on or move forward and get one's bearings. And then that's where I'm seeing sort of coming into play this like peeling off that's happening between King of Cups and Queen of Cups. And then Queen of Cups in the meantime is again like sort of trying to figure out like how to deal with what they're going through. And for some of the Queen of Cups here, they have somebody too that they're talking to. I'm seeing a King of Swords over here. So this would be this can be somebody of any gender or no gender, okay? Just saying that it's a king, even though it's a masculine energy, it has like nothing to do with gender here, okay? Just wanted to clarify that. The King of Swords can be somebody that Queen of Cups is going to, if this is another person, which it's not for everybody, but for some of you, Queen of Cups is like sort of going into this space away from King of Cups and talking to King of Swords. So this would be somebody in their life that would be very honest and like blunt and straightforward with them, and also give them very good advice and be like logical and that sort of thing. And be attentive as well, because it feels like they're helping them like even resolve something that's going on here, because I'm seeing King King of Swords and I'm seeing Three of Swords and I'm seeing Temperance here. So this is like somebody that, if there's another person involved with the Queen of Cups over here, this is somebody that it feels like they're supporting the Queen of Cups and can be like helping them sort of through their healing process, having Three of Swords and Temperance here. And also too, like I'm looking at Three of Cups on the bottom of the deck, so this can be like a friendship or something, or there's like some sort of support, again, if this is another person that's involved. Not going to be the case for all of you, but for some of you, yes. Okay guys, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.